Good afternoon, everyone. We'd like to welcome you today to the West Shore Senior Center. I'm Alicia Titus, Vice President at Messiah Lifeways. Our mission at Messiah Lifeways is to responsibly enhance the lives of older adults with Christ-like love. We recognize that we have a responsibility to reach beyond the walls of our residential campuses and impact the lives of older adults who may not choose to move into our settings. We have been offering community support services such as home care and adult day for many years with the goal of providing the same trusted care that can be found at Messiah Village for those who choose to stay in their homes. Also, sponsoring local senior centers like this one here is a way to reach beyond our walls and extend enriching opportunities to more people. As we all know, Pennsylvania is home to a rapidly aging population, and Governor Shapiro recognizes the importance of ensuring that older adults have the choice to stay in their homes. His administration is taking steps to address this issue by investing in programs and policies that promote affordable housing for older Pennsylvanians, including the property tax rent rebate program. We are thankful that Governor is here with us today to discuss this important topic, as well as Commissioner Fauci and Ann Huff of the Cumberland County Office of Aging. It is my privilege to introduce to you today new Cumberland resident and West Shore Senior Center member, Diane Salerno. Diane, a grandmother and longtime lobbyist, is actively involved in senior center activities and is also an active member of the Friends of New Cumberland Public Library. Diane is an enthusiastic supporter of Governor Shapiro and is here today to talk about the property tax rent rebate program and how it will positively impact the lives of older adults in central Pennsylvania.
All right, thank you.
Thank you all for coming here today. I see a lot of familiar faces from the things that I participate in here. And Messiah Lifeways has also expanded some of the programs that go on here. And honored to be in the presence of Governor Shapiro. And he's probably going to go into more detail about his program's proposal than I will. I just want to say, all right, all right.
They'd rather hear from you than me, so take your time.
I was shocked to learn, that cost of living increase for this program has not been made for seniors for nearly 2 decades. Now, I'm sure we've all seen how costs have gone up over those nearly 2 decades. I was shocked to see that for renters, it was 35 years. We're not invisible. We won't be treated as such. This man recognizes this, and he's going to make sure that we are not forgotten, overlooked, pushed to the corner. I think it's so important that so many people are able to stay in their home. What this program will do with a COLA, cost of living adjustment, all right? You get this with Social Security. Unfortunately, sometimes Medicare takes part of that away. So this is nothing new. And there's always money to be found. There is always money there. Okay, so I don't want to hear from any legislator, where will we get the money from? Please, don't. No, too old for that. But
I just want to point out, she's reading with no notes up here. This is all real. Keep going.
So, seniors should not have to decide, do I go without groceries so I pay for my meds? Somehow I don't qualify for PACE or PACENet. I might make $10 a month more, so I don't qualify. I can't put gas in the car. I can't. That is just wrong. We're a very viable, important part of the population. And even if you don't want to puff up your own self-confidence and esteem, we're human beings. At one point, I walked away from my career. It was a good career. Time to go. Done with it. How much money do you need, Diane? Okay. No more board meetings, no more staff meetings. No, nope, nope. And I went and worked in 2 different garden centers. I loved it, loved it, loved it. Was there a difference in money? Yes, yes there was. And then one day, I got a postcard in the mail about property tax reduction. I could benefit from this. I could do that. Checked it out. I was a widow, all right, the income level. It wasn't the full boat, but what was going to be there was a help. It was nice. It was nice. The idea of this, it's not a handout, it's a hand up. And we should be there to do that. So I benefited from that. Everyone should be able to benefit from that. This is home. This man is home. He knows Pennsylvania's home. Everyone is going to be considered. So, he proposes. This is important. I have to do this. I'm sorry.
Keep going.
This is very important.
I can grab a seat.
The governor proposes. The legislature has to pass it. So you need to call your state rep and your state senator and ask them to support this. Don't be afraid to call them. They put on their pants just like you put on your pants and pantyhose every day. They work for you. Call them and ask for their support and help bring more comfort to more people to be able to stay in their home. Help this man deliver what he believes in. Thank you. Governor Shapiro.
Thanks, Diane. Well, we've learned a lot from Diane this morning. We've learned that you can always find some money, and we learned how a bill becomes a law, right? And I want to say thank you for synthesizing what we're here to talk about today here at the Senior Center. And I want to tell you that you're right. You can find $1 in this vast budget if you're willing to make it a priority. And I want you all to hear loud and clear that I'm making the seniors all across Pennsylvania my priority in this budget. And I want to make sure that seniors are able to live with dignity in their homes and get the relief that I believe they deserve to be able to live their golden years with dignity, with respect, and in their homes. I know that seniors all across Pennsylvania are grappling with rising prices and dealing with inflated costs. And I want you to know, as I said a moment ago, I'm ready to deliver for our seniors all across Pennsylvania. I know the property tax rent rebate program has been a lifeline for so many seniors across Pennsylvania, especially those who are on fixed incomes. And I know that it's a big deal here in South Central Pennsylvania. Let me give you a little bit of data. Currently, the property tax rent rebate program helps 400,000 seniors across Pennsylvania. Right here in Cumberland County, it helps over 6,000 seniors. And in neighboring Dauphin County, it's 8,300 seniors. So nearly 15,000 seniors right now benefit, I think I did my math right there, benefit from the property tax rent rebate. The problem is that number has been going down in recent years, and you heard about why. Because we have not, in Harrisburg, in the state capital, updated the formula that's used to drive out that relief in more than 17 years. It is time we correct that right here in Pennsylvania. And so here is my plan to address it. And I've laid this out as part of my budget. And as you heard a moment ago from Diane, the House and Senate are now considering my budget. So they're considering this plan that I've put forth. Right now, if you qualify for the maximum rebate, you get $650. I want to change that from $650 to $1,000. In addition to that, I want more seniors to be able to qualify for that money. So how are we going to do that? We want to increase the income cap to $45,000. So we want that income cap to grow, which it hasn't for the last 17 years. So if you think about what's happened, the income cap stayed the same. Your COLA for Social Security and other things went up, and that basically knocked people out of getting a rebate, or it reduced their rebate. By increasing it to $45,000, we're going to bring more seniors into the mix and give them a higher rebate. And so we never have to deal with this again. We want to tie that increase to a rate of inflation going forward. Seniors should never lose out on a property tax rent rebate because they got a COLA for Social Security that might have been higher than what the Commonwealth did. So what do we want to do? Increase the maximum rebate. We want to increase the cap, and then we want to tie it to inflation going forward. What's the effect of all that? It means that 175,000 more seniors are going to qualify for a higher rebate. That's more money for them to be able to afford to be able to stay in their homes, whether they're renters or homeowners, and it's going to give them a shot to deal with the rising costs. Listen, when I was out campaigning and in my first 100 and whatever it's been days as governor, one of the things I keep hearing about from seniors is how are we going to get help with rising costs? This is a meaningful, tangible, common sense way to help our seniors deal with rising costs. Now, what's that going to mean for seniors in Cumberland and Dauphin County? Under my plan, not only will the rebate go up, we will add over 5,000 seniors who now will qualify for the property tax rent rebate just in these two counties. So I said before we were just shy of 15,000. This would bring us up to just around 20,000 seniors who would get help just in these two counties alone. And across the state, more than 175,000 more seniors will get help on their property tax rent rebate. It's common sense. You all have paid into the system for a good long while. You deserve the help right now, and I want to deliver on that for you as your governor. So we want to, in effect, nearly double the rebate and nearly double the number of people that are going to qualify. And let me tell you what else. We can afford this. Not only is the dollar there, but we're going to be able to do this in the context of a whole budget that invests in really important things like education and public safety and economic development. And we're going to do it without raising taxes. And in fact, I've proposed that we cut some taxes along the way. So it's fiscally responsible. It invests in people that need the help, our seniors. I think it shows where our values and our priorities are. And I'm really excited about the opportunity to share some of this with you today. Now, we talked before about how a bill becomes a law, right? I proposed it. It's got to pass in the House and in the Senate. We have this really interesting dynamic in our state capitol right now. Do you know that we are the only state with a full-time legislature that has a divided government, meaning one branch is run by Democrats and one by Republicans. So the Senate is run by Republicans and the House is run by Democrats. I actually think that's a good thing because what it allows us to do is find common ground. It allows us to find common ground and do common sense things. That's what I've been focused on in my first 100 or so days in office, is bringing people together and actually getting things done. In fact, I signed my first bill into law last week. Pretty amazing. You just take your pen out, you sign it, becomes a law. But it was an important bill when it comes to helping women with breast cancer screenings and other testing. But there's a story kind of behind the story that I want you to be aware of. This was a bill that was sponsored by a woman named Kim Ward. She's a state senator, and what makes her particularly special as a state senator is she's the president pro tem. That's a fancy word we use for the boss of the state Senate, right? She's a Republican. And it passed in the Senate overwhelmingly. It was actually unanimous. Not a lot gets done unanimous in Harrisburg, but this did. And then it came over to the House, which is led by a Democratic woman. And by the way, they're both history makers. For the first time ever, we have women leading both of the chambers. And by the way, before you cheer, I know you want to cheer, and you're going to cheer in a second. We have a woman leading the Supreme Court. We have the oldest appellate court in the nation, 301 years old. We finally have a woman leading that court. Now you can applaud, okay? And so the woman who leads our House is called our Speaker. Her name is Joanna McClinton. She's awesome. She's a Democrat. Remember, Kim Ward, I said, was the Republican. Joanna didn't need to have a vote on that bill, right? A lot of times when someone of the other party has a bill, you never even give them a vote. But Joanna understood, and we all understood, that this issue was too important and that this was an opportunity for us to come together and actually pass something that would do a lot of good for women and show that we could actually get things done again in our state capital, where Democrats and Republicans could work together again. Now, why am I sharing that example with you? Because I think this property tax rent rebate presents a similar opportunity for us to find common ground. I've heard from lots of Republicans and Democrats alike who have said, you know what, we should do this. It's long past time. And rather than us dwelling on the past of wondering, well, why didn't this happen for the last 17 years? How about we focus on getting it done now and looking toward the future where we demonstrate real compassion to our seniors, where we allow seniors to live with dignity, and where we do the right thing on a bipartisan basis. That's what I'm focused on doing as your governor, and I'm excited about the prospect of delivering for our seniors and doing so in a bipartisan manner. So I want to thank you all for coming here today. I'm going to come and spend some time talking to you. But part of what I got to do, this is part of my job, is I'm going to answer some questions from some people in the media. You guys can listen, hang out. If you have better answers than me, jump up and give those answers. I'm sure they'd rather hear from you than me at this point. But with that, let me invite any of our friends in the media who have some questions, fire away, and then I'll be happy to come and talk to you. Cut, Dennis. Oh, wait, actually, hold on. How many of you watch Dennis Owens on TV, right? Oh, wow. Dennis has been on TV for 30 years, right? 30 years. He just celebrated that anniversary the other day. He had much darker hair when he started than now. So we'll give him the first question. Go ahead, Dennis. Let the record reflect Dennis got a rousing round of applause.
Thank you all for that, by the way. Governor, I'm sure you're in budget negotiations on this issue already. What is the pushback? Are you hearing any pushback?
I haven't heard pushback on this, and I could tell you that we've had some really good dialogue, Democrats and Republicans alike. I spent a lot of time talking with the leaders in the Senate and in the House, and I think there's a new spirit of a willingness to cooperate, of a desire to kind of take down the temperature in the Capitol and to get people to work together again. That's certainly what I brought to the table as governor, and I've been really pleased that I've been met with the same spirit of cooperation from the other side. So we got some time till we get into the specifics of every particular proposal, but this is one, as I said a moment ago, Dennis, that Republicans and Democrats alike have kind of pulled me aside and said, this is good. We got to make sure this is part of the final package. I feel very optimistic. Yeah. Jan?
I was wondering, with the building the COLA into your proposal going forward, I mean, is there a concern that, people get used to $1,000 a month and then the money's not there down the line and it has to be lowered?
The money will be there. We're going to make a commitment to our seniors to not just increase it. My proposal is to get it up to $1,000 and to put 175,000 more seniors to qualify. But then that COLA is going to help make sure it's there for our seniors. They can rely on it. The money, you heard this before, the money will be there. It's a matter of prioritizing our seniors. And as governor, I'm prioritizing our seniors. Stephen, I think you had a question.
Just to follow up on that, what would you deprioritize? Because if you want to prioritize this, there's a lot of things that we spend money on. There's tax breaks, there's tax credits. I mean, is there anything you're looking at like we don't need to spend any money on this or as much money as we are right now?
We're not deprioritizing. As I said, my budget is fully paid for. We're not raising any taxes. We're cutting taxes. Those of you walking around with a cell phone, right now you're paying a tax to the state on your cell phone. Just have a cell phone. I proposed in my budget to cut the cell phone tax, so you don't have to pay that anymore. So, Stephen, this isn't about deprioritizing, to use your word. This is about investing in the areas that I think we need to make significant investments, and our seniors are one critical piece of that.
Governor, I think to follow up on what Dan asked, the concern, if you will, that I've heard from some Republicans is that they are worried about the current financial projections, and they're worried that if we start pushing this direction with the expansion of the rebate, that you're going to see trickier situations financially down the line? I mean, what's your message to them in this year's budget? Because that's a long-term concern.
Sure. I guess two responses. Number one, investing in our seniors is a wise investment. It allows seniors to be able to age with dignity, to stay in their homes. Seniors who get this additional money, they're likely to go spend it in our stores, in our restaurants, in other areas, so the money goes right back into the economy. That's number one. Number two, those who are arguing that the budget's not fiscally sound or fiscally responsible are just simply not speaking the truth. If you go and you look at what's known as the Independent Fiscal Office, this is the office that we rely on in the state capitol to kind of tell us what stuff costs, right? If you sponsor a bill, it costs this amount of money, it'll have this effect down the road. The Independent Fiscal Office is a group of kind of well-known conservative economists. And the budget I proposed is $3 billion more conservative than even their estimates. So even by the estimates that everybody relies on in the state capitol, we're even more fiscally conservative. And if you go back and you look at my track record as a leader, I used to lead Montgomery County and their government there. That was an area where we actually, over time, spent less. And we were able to lead a more fiscally responsible operation. We're going to have a fiscally responsible operation in our state capitol, but we can still make critical investments. I think critical investments include investing in our seniors, and that's why I'm so focused on getting this done for all of you.
One more. Any other question? Governor, the IFO report, I think issued last week, they talked about legalization of marijuana at a recreational level, hundreds of millions of dollars over the course of a few years. Do you see that as something that needs to happen sooner rather than later in Pennsylvania, especially when our neighbors, New York, New Jersey, Delaware, even now, have this?
It's something we need to explore down the road, and it's something that we contemplated in our budget in the out years, and that's another thing that we're going to have to work together as Democrats and Republicans alike to see if we can find common ground on that issue. I've been on the record as supporting legalization. It needs to be done in a way that it's regulated acceptably, taxed an acceptable rate, and we need to do so in a way that ensures public safety every step of the way. Okay? Should we let Dennis ask one more? I don't know. I got a mix. That was like a 50-50.
Has to do with the House race in Delaware County, and you have an ad out.
I just can't hear you. I'm sorry. No, I literally couldn't hear you.
Has to do with the state House race in Delaware County. You have an ad out suggesting that abortion rights could be in jeopardy if the Republican were to win. We hosted her in a debate that aired this weekend, and she was very emphatic that she is pro-choice. She would never vote against anything that would further restrict abortion. So, and some people are calling for you to take that ad down. What do you say to that?
Sure. I didn't see the debate, but if she in fact did say that, that would be contrary to positions I guess she had taken in the recent past, like within the last week or so. Look, here's the bottom line. I believe in defending a woman's right to choose. And as governor, I'm always going to protect that. And I respect the fact that some people may disagree with me on that issue, but I believe that's a decision that should be left up to the woman and whoever she chooses to consult. In our state capitol, prior to my arrival, when the Republicans controlled the House and the Senate, they sought to go around the former governor and pass a constitutional amendment that would ban abortion or make it so it was less protected in Pennsylvania. And that's not something I'd like us to go back to. And given the current makeup of the legislature, Democratic House, Republican Senate, those constitutional amendments are not in a position to go forward. And so I believe in protecting our freedoms here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and I believe that race is going to be an indicator of whether or not we are going to protect our freedoms. And the freedom to make decisions over your body is one of those fundamental freedoms. We're about real freedom here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and I'm always going to protect that. Okay? Thanks. I'm going to come hang out and spend some time with you now. Thanks, guys.